Again, my view, you must have respect for people to socially influence behavior to the point of maximizing efforts. And this is a really important point, I think. Very, very important, because I've seen people. And here's one thing I'll hear from managers sometimes. They'll say, you know, we need to really show people respect because we need their buy-in. We need their buy-in. Does that sound like a great statement? What's implied in that? Seems so simple, the statement. Seems okay on the surface, but there's a problem with that. Why do I need your buy-in? No, I'm trying to manipulate you. I'm going to give you a ham at Christmas so you like me and do what I tell you, right? I don't need your buy-in. I need your ideas. I need your help. If I really want to get your help and your ideas, I need you to be an inspired person who cares, who wants to help with the vision of the company. So I don't need your buy-in. I need your efforts and your mind. I need your commitment. I need all those things because I need the organization to care and want to help us achieve this idea of who we want to be. So it's not about, if I say I need your buy-in, that implies also that I've already constructed the solution. I don't need your input, and here it is, now buy into it. It's really, it says a lot. So respect for people is critically important. And humility is requisite to the ability of having respect. You can't be a respectful person if you're not humble. You just can't. I don't think you can. Don't think it's possible. Okay, 13 Habits of Humble People, another contributor of Forbes magazine, because I think this is important. Humble people can receive a bad rap. Humility is frequently associated with being too passive, submissive, or insecure, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Instead, humble people are quite the opposite. Confident and competent in themselves so much that as a result, they seek to self-actualize by helping others. Humble people are still efficacious? They just don't feel the impetus to boast about themselves, but instead let their actions speak for the ideals. To be humble is not to think less of oneself, but to think of oneself less. So humility is a great trait. Unlike the first couple of slides talking about personal characteristics are important, this is critically important, to be humble. So therefore, in my opinion, forget about respect for a minute. Try to evaluate whether you're a humble person or not. And if you're not, you got a problem. You're not going to be a great leader. To help identify what humble looks like, here are 13 habits that this author has mentioned. You don't have to memorize those, but these are habits that you would expect to see in people who have humility. Lead as if you had no power. Do you remember John Shook here talking about that? He made a statement, this Hagashi, who's the president and CEO of NUMMI, talked to Gary Convis, who was later the Toyota executive vice president, telling him, and I've heard Convis, I've seen articles with him talking about this also, lead as if you have no power. Because then you're going to prove to yourself that I can pull people my way with our vision without using force. Because I've got to test my ability to lead. I can't have an artificial influence like I can fire you or I can tell you what to do. So I can test my ability to pull an organization my way. This is a great statement here. In order to engage in a conversation about leadership, you have to assume you have no power, that you aren't in charge of anything, and that you can't sanction those who are unwilling to do your bidding. If given this starting point and you can mobilize others and accomplish amazing things, then you are a leader. If you can't, well then you're just a bureaucrat. You're just a person using your authority to force people to do what you'd like them to do. Great leaders don't need the authority. Leading with respect as a teacher. And this is a Taiichi Ono thing. Taiichi Ono and another manager had been touring several Toyota factories. During a conversation between Ono and the manager observed that several factories were misapplying the Toyota production system. Then the manager asked Taiichi Ono, I was wondering why you didn't instruct the workers to correct it as we walked through. Ono then responded with this lesson. I am being patient. I cannot use my authority to force them to do what I want them to do. It would not lead to good quality products. What we must do is persistently seek understanding from the shop floor workers by persuading them of the virtues of the Toyota system. After all, manufacturing is essentially a human development that depends heavily on how we teach our workers. So what Ono is saying is, you've got to be very, very careful about using your power because you're trying to harness this great energy of that organization. You're trying to harness the creativity of people, and you're trying to have the inspiration there that's going to convert the waste in that organization. Be very, very careful about using authority because you could undermine that whole effort. And if you're really a leader, you don't need it. He's saying, persuading them of the virtues of the Toyota system. He's got an idea, why we're here, what we do, a vision. Persuade them of that vision. Be a preacher. Convert their souls. Have them excited to help you achieve it. Be very careful about telling them what to do. You could lose their heart and soul. So therefore, you must be a leader. Therefore, Ono would say you must have respect. Therefore, you must be a humble person to be able to do that. Tricky, but powerful.